Hey everybody! Okay, so here is the second installment of story time, and don't worry if you tune into this late, I will be putting it onto my story for the rest of the day. Hi. Okay. I'm gonna try not to be as nervous as I was last time, because last time I did this I was like, whoa, there's so many people on here. Okay. So here's a really random story from when I was 18, I believe. The last one I told was from when I was 18 as well, so I guess I'm just like on a when I was 18 story kick right now. Okay, so this one time when I was 18, I was backup dancing for my friend's electroclash rap band, which I can't even remember the name of this thing now. I think it was something that my friends started at our school. I went to a really alternative high school, and you know how most high schools have like a band class, you know, where everybody plays like the saxophone and like steel drums and stuff. Well, we had a band class where you actually formed your own rock band, and then you got to play shows at this really cool venue in Seattle that's still there called the Vera Project. So if any of you are watching from Seattle, you probably know what I'm talking about. Now, this story begins at the Vera Project, not the one that stands now, but the Vera Project that used to be. This was like a smaller venue. Right now the Vera Project is like a community center. The Vera Project used to be this like little tiny cool punk venue that was like up these really rickety stairs. Anyway, that's just a side note. So, the point is, I was backup dancing for my friend's Electroclash rap act. And the fact that I said Electroclash will probably let you know that I'm really fucking old. So I remember I was wearing this really absurd outfit. I was wearing, and again, I mean, this was like, what, 2004, I think? So I was wearing like red and white striped leg warmers, neon fishnet stockings. I was wearing this like neon fishnet dress, like probably over like some crazy bra or something. I don't know, man. I think my hair was like bright yellow at the time, and I probably had like bright blue and pink makeup on. So I remember I danced so fucking hard. I danced so hard. I like danced my ass off, and I remember I had to like recover in the bathroom. I was literally sitting in the sink, like hosing myself off with water. So anyway, that's what I was doing that night. And then at the end of the night I had to go home. I was hoping one of my friends would be taking the bus with me. Growing up, we didn't have a car, and so it was always scary, I remember. This stuff isn't scary to me anymore. I'm 31, so I don't get afraid of traveling at night, but when I was in my teens, traveling at night was always really scary to me because, well, you know, you never know what's going to happen. And I remember I would get really bummed out when my friends would, you know, like their parents would come and pick them up, because my friends, their families all had cars, and I didn't have a car. So, and they all lived, like, in the opposite direction of me. So anyway, I remember I didn't have a ride home that night, is basically what I'm saying, and I was bummed out because it was, like, midnight, and I had to go take the bus home from downtown Seattle, and I was like, oh man, like I hope I don't get kidnapped or something. So I was walking to the bus. I got to the bus stop, and I remember the bus wasn't running. This happens frequently in Seattle. The transportation there sucks. So I was like, you know, fuck, now I've gotta Now I've got to like somehow get home. I could technically walk from downtown Seattle to my house, but it was a fairly long walk. So I thought I'd walk halfway and maybe try to take like a second bus, once I got like halfway home. So started walking up the hill, and I'm walking. I remember, I like that like none of this actually has anything to do with the story that I'm telling, but bear with me, because it's just funny memories that are coming back to me. This one isn't that funny, though. I remember I was walking across the street, and this car was coming towards me, and it was like full of these dudes, and they saw me walking across the street, and they like purposefully swerved into me, like to try to hit me. Like, I mean, like, they weren't actually going to hit me, but they were trying to scare me, and I had to, like, jump out of the way, and they were laughing. So, like, yay, walking home alone at night. I just saw someone say taxi, but, like, I didn't have any money. I was, like, an 18-year-old kid. I mean, like, I didn't have allowance when I was a kid. We didn't have a lot of money. So, like, basically, it was, like, if I wanted to go somewhere at night, I had to, like, get my ass home somewhere. So, I mean, somehow. I had a bus card, I remember, from my high school. They gave us bus cards so we could ride the bus for free, which was really great. But since the bus wasn't running, that didn't do anything. But, so anyway, brings us to the conclusion of the story, which is that I finally got to another bus stop where I could take a bus that was running home. And I decided to stop there and wait for the bus to arrive. And as I was standing there in my crazy neon outfit, these guys approached me, and one of them comes up to me and he goes, "Oh my God, girl, do you know where we can buy any Coke?" And I was like, no, sorry man, I don't do drugs. And he goes, "Okay, you cannot stand there and tell me that you don't do drugs when you're dressed like that." And I said, "I was a backup dancer." And as he walks away, he goes, "Yeah, honey, so was I." And it was so funny. Anyway, my bus came and I went home and I took a shower. Cool. Hope you liked that story. I put a post up last night about story time, asking you guys to give me some inspiration on other stories that you would like to hear. Because I don't know. I thought maybe if I'm like prompted, I would like think of interesting anecdotes to share with you. Yeah, I'm a lot less nervous this time. I think like last time I turned on live, I was just really like, I thought maybe like 2 people would tune in, and I was like, oh my God, there's so many people talking to me, and I don't know. I will tell you one other bonus story just because I feel like it. The story isn't actually about me. It's about a friend of mine in high school. It's something she told me, and it's one of the funniest stories anyone has ever told me, ever. At least I think so. You might think it's dumb, and that's totally fine. So, bonus story. So, a good friend of mine in high school, was out of town all weekend. There's a suburb outside of Seattle in Washington, where I was raised. There's a suburb outside of Seattle called Edmonds, and I can't think of anything remarkable to say about Edmonds. It's a suburb, and I'm a city kid, so I'm a big jaded asshole, and I don't know what to say about a suburb. But if any of you live in a suburb, you know that it's nothing. There's really nothing to do in the suburbs. So a friend of mine. This was when I was like 16. A friend of mine was gone all weekend with her mom because her mom had like business to do in Edmonds, and she like took my friend with her. And And so anyway, like I didn't see her for a few days, and I hung out with her when she was back in town, like after school one day, and I was like, man, how was Edmonds? And she was like, it was really boring. And I was like, yeah, it sounds really boring. And I was like, what did you even do there? And she said, I don't know, I got really bored, and my mom was like in an office the whole time, so I was just walking around. And I said, did you see anything cool? And she said, I don't know, I didn't really know what to do, and so I went to the store, and it was called Lambo's, and so I went into the store, and I walked up to the counter, and I said, how much is your sign, because my name's Lambo. Like, that was that. And, like, I don't know. There's like 4 stories that I have that other people have told me that are like the funniest stories that anyone has ever told me about things that have happened to them. 2 of them come from my very best friend in the whole world, Sarah Galvin. One of them comes from a friend of mine named Dave about a cactus, which maybe I'll reiterate to you sometime. And that one is from my high school friend Jane, who I am barely in touch with anymore. But anyway, one of the funniest stories I have ever heard. So that's the end. And now I'm going to go take my compost to the compost place by my house so that I can chop it up and compost it, because taking care of the environment is cool. Then I'm gonna buy groceries. Then I'm gonna hang out with my mom probably, because I'm a dweeb. And then I'm gonna go bowling, which maybe I'll post some videos about later. Anyway, there you go. See you later, everyone.